Hi there, everyone. What we have here is a follow-up to our virtual open evening that we had on Wednesday night. And we've had a few questions since Wednesday night coming through at the Year 6 email address. But I actually think that a lot of the questions have been quite straightforward for us. And I think there might be some unanswered questions from Wednesday night that are the really big stuff. Such as how well have we managed COVID-19? If I was you, I'd be curious about that. What are the results like over time? What are the GCSE results like? And what is behaviour like? So in this short video, I'm aiming for under 15 minutes. Let's see if I can succeed at that. I'm going to address these three things. Managing COVID-19 then, how have we done? I think we've done pretty well. Obviously, you should speak to parents in the local community and see what they think. If you look on the YouTube channel, you can see a lockdown learning film, which is 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and which sort of sums up how we pull together as a school community, our learners, our staff, our parents, working together to support our learners to make sure they keep learning and that they are well during that time of lockdown. In terms of how we've managed things since we reopened, it's been mixed in that on the one hand, our learners have made a brilliant return. They've been focused, they've been happy, they've been keen to learn. Our staff have been amazing and super adaptable, but we've had 3 positive cases of COVID-19, unfortunately, and we've had to therefore self-isolate 3 of our year groups. Which is unbelievably frustrating. But I think it's been remarkable, really, how the school's been since we've returned. There's been such a sense of togetherness because there's been so much new stuff for our learners and our staff to take on board, different routes through school, all the hygiene measures and all that. And it's just been remarkable that the standards of behaviour, the quality of teaching. I've been delighted with that, but absolutely gutted with the obvious positive cases. Let me talk about GCSE results now. I am gutted really about this too, that when you research the school and look at our results, all that you will find is results from 2019. Of course, you won't see any results for this summer. And we didn't have a good year in 2019. So if you go onto the Compare School Performance website for our Progress 8 figure, you'll see that there, and you'll see it saying below average. And I wish that our result, I wish our learners had been able to do their exams this summer, and I wish you could have then got to see those when those results, those actual results when you research the school. So what I'm going to do is, in a bit, I'm going to talk to you directly and honestly about where things went wrong that year. Now, that was just at the point that I started at the school, because I started at the school as head teacher at the Easter of 2019, so just before the learners sat the exam. But I'm not just, I'm not saying, oh, it would have been fine if I'd have been there before. I'm just telling you that just so you know the sort of timing of things. So I wasn't there obviously for most of the time that those learners were, but I've learned a lot about what went wrong really. So I'm going to tell you about that shortly. With this summer, obviously the learners didn't sit their exams, but I've got here the attainment figures. Now we don't get Progress 8 figures, so I can't do a comparison with what you see there. But you've got the attainment figures there, so you can use those to, for purposes of comparison for this summer. And then in brackets there, you can see it. You can see the 2019 figures. Now, as you know, schools ended up, or the results ended up being based on centre-assessed grades largely this summer, so they didn't actually sit their exams. We were really honest in the creation of those centre-assessed grades. Very, very honest. We did as we were asked to do. We provided realistic grades not optimistic, inflated, aspirational grades. We provided realistic grades. Frustrating, of course, for everyone, because we can't say for certain what the learners would have achieved, each individual, and for each of their courses, we simply don't know. But what I do know is that we were very honest in the creation of those grades. Those grades that you can see here are very much in line with what the school achieved in 2017 and 2018, when the results were really pretty decent. So 2019 was a bit of a blip, but I don't think me just saying that is really adequate. I think I need to open up and be absolutely honest with what I know about why that might have happened. Now, I feel the results that year were largely down to the fact that we had a minority of the cohort where we had real issues with their behaviour, or the school had real issues with the behaviour of a minority of that particular year 11 cohort. And that didn't just limit what they went on to achieve, but I feel, and didn't just, that impact of their behaviour wasn't just on their own results. I feel it had an impact, not necessarily on the results of other learners in that year group, but I think it had an effect on the behaviour across the school. And at the point that I started as head teacher, we had a lot of work to do to improve behaviour. So to finish off with, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and I'll give you a flavour of where things are at now as well. So for a start, we changed our whole strategy around behaviour, and we firstly decided that we were going to have this 5-part behaviour strategy, starting with us as adults in the school being calm and being kind. It's very hard for us to expect our learners, or maybe unreasonable for us to expect our learners to be kind and to be respectful, which are two of the qualities we talked about the other night, if we're not displaying those kinds of qualities to our learners. So, and I'm not saying that the staff weren't previously, I'm just saying we have the belief that when it comes to behaviour management, first and foremost, it starts with adults being calm, being kind. And then we feel it's about focusing your first attention on learners getting things right. A lot of negative behaviour, a lot of poor behaviour is young people trying to get recognised, trying to make contact and get recognised and get attention in effect. So we look to minimise the attention for doing things wrong and maximise the attention for doing things right. And then we have really clear consequences and clear systems and processes that we follow in terms of addressing those issues, but we do it in a low-key way. And that fits with that third point there around relentless routines. We've got really strong routines now as a school. I've referred to before all of the measures that we've put in place for COVID-19. That's been around getting in new habits and new routines. In all of our lessons, we have what we call teach time, task time, team time, where it's really clear what the expectations are, what the standards are in different phases of a lesson. And yes, that's the third one. The fourth one that you can see there is maximising parental engagement. Talk to parents locally, and I would hope that a lot of them would feed back to you that we as a school now reach out to parents a lot. And we do that in all sorts of ways, but in particular when there's issues around behaviour, we engage and work in partnership with our parents to secure an improvement. And we focus finally on repair, on trying to fix things. Instead of just putting in place the sanctions, we look to fix whatever the problems are. So if there's an issue, we book in a repair conversation with a learner. Right, you need to come back. We need to fix things. Let's come back. Let's get get things sorted out, and we look to repair things. So this strategy has had a real impact. I mentioned at the start just how good the behaviour has been this term, but it's not just been this term. What we saw throughout my time as head teacher of the school is a real gains in terms of behaviour. Now what we've also done, which you'll have seen on the live stream event the other night when you saw the video about our alternative curriculum that we call RISE, what we've also done is we've provided for some of our learners a very different curriculum path that is absolutely bespoke to them, is personalized to that individual and what they need. Some young people need a different route through school. Just simply forcing them through 9 GCSEs that are very academic isn't right for everyone. So what we've done is we've introduced RISE. Let me just give you an example of that to help you to understand what it's about. So, for example, we've got we had a learner in last year's year 11 that have just finished, who prior to starting on RISE, routinely just wandered about doing whatever he wanted, often not in class, often not doing what he should be doing. We got him onto a RISE curriculum plan that involved work experience, it involved one-to-one tuition, and it involved him doing his core subjects plus film studies. The work experience was at a mechanics. He's now got a job there. He works there now, and he's also doing some extra study at college alongside the job that he's now got. That absolutely fits with the mission that I talked about the other night of making sure that our learners leave us with the knowledge, with the qualities that they need to go on, thrive and be successful in the future. So RISE has made a difference. So the combination of this new approach to behaviour, putting in place RISE, the alternative curriculum, and again, I'll be totally honest, we've had some permanent exclusions too, where the patterns, the habits of behaviour were so entrenched in those young people that we weren't able to secure an improvement. The combination of those three things has led to massive improvements in behaviour. It is like a different school. And just to go back to the permanent exclusions, morally, I believe it's right that we've got to do everything that we can to provide the right curriculum for each individual to meet their needs, rather than immediately look to take what has always got to be the last resort, which is a permanent exclusion. And RISE has made a real difference in terms of that. As I say, not succeeded every time, but it's remarkable the improvement and the turnaround in the behaviour of some of our learners when they've been put onto these bespoke curriculum packages through RISE. Last little thing to say before plugging yet again, in fact I've just done it, the email address, which is there, is about teaching and learning as well. The way in which we're going to improve, and I've just no doubt it's going to happen, improve our results year on year, is through that combination of the highest standards of behaviour through the strategies that I've just told you about, with great teaching and learning. And you get great teaching and learning if you provide the very best training and professional learning opportunities for your staff. So that's very much what we're about. I just wish you could come to see us. I wish you could walk about. I wish you could see those high standards that I'm talking about around behaviour, around teaching and learning, and get a sense of the relationships we've got at Ladybridge and feel that warmth and friendliness that we talked about the other night as well. I wish that were possible. All right, I'll leave it there. I've no idea if I've stuck to my 15-minute deadline that I gave myself, but I hope that was of some use. Please get in touch with us if there's anything more that you want to ask about the school. Thank you, everyone.